We're back here with Richard Berg's simulation of the First Battle of Saratoga, Freeman's Farm, September 19th, 1777, in the game Birth of a Nation. And we're just about to begin the 12th game turn out of 25, so 6 hours have elapsed. And you see here the Albany Road here, which as the main victory hexes are here and here for the English forces under Burgoyne. They are now under artillery fire from Bemis Heights, and all of the Continentals are released and committed because every brigadier can see they now have line of sight to the British forces. And over here, just up there, you can see the Hessians being held off near Freeman's Farm by Paw's and Leonard's brigades. Essentially, we've just had skirmishing so far. Essentially skirmishing, posturing and manoeuvring. So a couple of companies from either side have fallen back in disorder at times and been rallied again. And what we're finding is that the Paul's brigade have moved up here, and they're going to be forming a defensive line across here. And Leonard's brigade, which were forward, they were hoping to sort of catch the Freeman's Farm or the junction back there, having to fall back, so that forming a defensive line along this stream here. To protect the flank of their compatriots back there. So that's the overall position. The Hessians are going to have a tough job against two strong brigades there. I think they're basically just going to be a penning force. They won't make a serious attempt to manoeuvre around, unless there's time for a change of plan after probes by Burgoyne determined that his frontal sort of assault, not on the heights, but he just wants to move past them. If that's not feasible, it's still maybe within his capabilities to move around, and so there could be a link up between the Hessians and the British here in an attempt to maybe take apart, destroy these two brigades, and so sort of start destroying the Continentals in detail. But there's only one day, as I understand it, 25 game turns to do it in, and we're almost halfway. Up there, just off camera shot up here, there's the artillery, the main body of the artillery have arrived. Oh, and I forgot to move on the boats, so I guess the boats are parallel with that small flotilla of boats going down the Hudson. And you can see here are the opened bridges that have been constructed. So I'll go into, so what I'll do is I'll show a bit of play. I'll play a turn out live, as it were, so you can see how the game plays. Okay, we start the beginning of the turn with the British player turn and the rally phase. This unit here is routed back, so he will attempt to rally. And we check his morale rating, which is B. Oh, and there's a star on that, which means, oh yes, that's the Brunswick's riflers. They were on the edge of the woods here, because they have rifles of superior range. They got shot at by the cannon here and scarpered backwards. So for a rally on B on a 4 to 6, so 50% chance of rallying. And they roll a 4, so they're rallied fine. I believe routed goes to disordered, and that's how we do that. Now there's no other rallies to do. Just to note that over here, this whole stack, because it's in column, the whole stack, if it's disordered, if the top unit is checked, if it becomes disordered as it did from artillery fire, the whole stack becomes disordered. Now that remains in effect for the whole turn. Essentially it's half movement and it can't assault or fire except if at all, I believe. You can be considered disordered if you're out of the command control 5 movement points range of your regimental leader. In that case, it's kind of like a disorder, but you can defensive fire, so it's not kind of like it's just that you're not taking initiative rather than being thoroughly disordered. Okay, I just checked the rules. I thought I saw something that said when you rallied from rout you go to disrupted, but I can't find it, so I just removed that rallied counter. Okay, so the next part of the phase is defensive ranged cannon fire phase. So that's the opposing player gets a chance. We have cannon here, and that's it. And there's are they within line of sight? No, it goes through a woods hex. Okay, so that cannon can't fire at anyone. And there's woods in the way here. Over here, there's a few cannon that could fire. So each cannon fires separately. You don't add them up. Okay, so these we've got 2 6-pounders. They will fire again at that disordered unit. So essentially check the range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6-pounder at 5 hexes range is a -1. Roll of d6. That's a 6 at 5. Then look down here at this chart, and so it was cannons at foot. I rolled a 5. That's a morale check. So again, that top unit's going to take a morale check. There's a leader with him, but the leader offers no modifier. That's a B morale unit. So 1 to 3 pass the check, fortunately. Okay, so that's the result of that cannon fire. If you've got excellent eyesight, you would have noticed that there's a building there. That has no effect on line of sight or anything like that. Okay, now you got 4. Now this is interesting, is that it doesn't matter how many guns you have, it has no effect on the firing results. So the only effect would be that if you take a loss, if you've got 2 guns, there's less to lose before that unit is unable to return fire. That's interesting. This seems a bit strange, but that's how this game plays. Okay. Maybe you felt that each is a battery, and the results from one battery to the other were, even if the number of guns was different, didn't justify extra rules to complicate things. Okay, they're going to fire again at the same thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's range. That's 6 pounds again. So that's -1. I rolled a 4. We go down to 3. That's a morale check again. Nearly always it's a morale check. I rolled a 4, and they're +1. So that's definitely they're not gonna be D or so morale. Let me just check. They look like B. Yeah. So they're fine. Okay. And these guns can't bear through those other units. I believe that one can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Range of 9 for those are 3-pounders. You can't see what I was talking about. Sorry about that. That's an X, so they can't fire at that range, out of range. Each hex, I believe, is 200 meters. In this game, so no, 150 yards. So that's a quite extreme range for guns of this era. Okay, we got. Let's zoom out a bit. So we got some artillery here. We got 3-pounders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's going to be out of range again, isn't it? I think it's 7 hexes is the range of. What did I say? 3-pounders. Yeah. Okay, so that's all the opponent's offensive cannon fire. Now we go to the movement phase. Okay, so over here near Freeman's Farm, the Hessians have got support from 2 Indian units here, which are very helpful because there's potential for them to desert. They move very fast. They have higher movement and move fast through woods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're going to try their luck at these militia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Because essentially they can move without officers, and they're independent units, so they're very handy for going behind enemy lines and harassment, which is what they're doing well here. Okay, so that's movement for them. Then with the main body of the Hessians here, essentially they're going to set up battle to try and take out these units. They've got to remove them before they can pretend they're faint. These units are in column, which is good for assault, but they're going to be moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They could move next to the line, then they'll be fired at by hefty line before they can assault. They would prefer for this artillery to unlimber first and maybe disrupt. Okay, so they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and turn. One thing I have to remember is they have to stay within range of their brigade commander. Okay, so it's a bit okay, so and that's 5 movement points. So say if he's goes there, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they would go out and then they'd have movement. So I'm going to say he's going to stay here for safety's sake. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they'll be here. And they're going to stay in column formation. I'm not breaking the regiments down yet. I don't see any advantage in it at this point. So I unlimbered that artillery, but this line unit will move up. 1, 2, 3. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe, into the woods. And that artillery will limber up. This line will go 1, 2, 3. Right, they're going to try and drive them out of the woods. The overall commander's moving. No, he's staying there because he wants to be able to supply benefit to both his brigadiers. I say overall commander, I should say corps commander, or more like an unofficial wing commander. Okay. 1, 2, and 3 to cross the river in the woods. They're in column, threatening assault, and these ones I think are basically guarding that flank. These ones can come back, but they don't want to be close to that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. No, they'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're covering there with their rifles. Okay. But they will be out of command. And there's not enough counters in the game. There's too many kind of crew counters for guns and not enough for example, lines, so I've made up some of my own on the backs of the crew counters, and not enough for disruption out of commands to distinguish that between normal out of command, but there we go. I mean normal disruption. Okay, so that's movement of the Hessians.